Hello and welcome to Open the Gates to More Listings meets the Complete Agent with me, Simon Gates, and I'm joined by James Kendall from James Kendall & Co, Dave Warburton from Birds & James, and Ian Storey from Stories. And today, gentlemen, we're going to be talking about how to use direct mail effectively. So, James, come to you first.
Yeah.
What's the first tip you're going to give on how agents can be using direct mail effectively to win more business?
Have you heard of a book called Alchemy?
Please, God, no.
No, I mean, jokes aside, the quality of what you send dictates the quality of response.
Do we need to kind of explain the laugh there? I mean, God.
No, I'm wondering that, yeah.
Basically,
Let's probably watch the previous episode.
All JK talks about, essentially. But
Yeah, but the thing is,
great.
you've blocked it out because did I not mention to you about using some AI?
No, but Gatesy
Recorder.
did, and I adopted it immediately. It's been a massive success for me.
Yeah. But yeah, so talking about the quality of direct mail, again, it's multifaceted, and we'll talk about it as we sort of go through the pod today. But if you send the same as what everyone else sends, so you've got different platforms, specters, etc., you're only going to get single-sided. You're going to get printed address, and you're probably going to appear at weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on what everyone else has set and what you've set. And you've only really got one page to make an impact. And automatically, as you come through, again, it's all about open rates in the beginning, right? So as soon as you come through the door, if you go through the door with everything else and it's printed and it looks like the other junk that comes through the mail, you're less likely to get opened. However, if it's written in such a way that, let's say, for example, it's handwritten, it's stamped rather than franked, it's much more likely to be opened and people are much more likely to engage with what's inside. Again, if it's a quality envelope for a start, open the envelope, it's a premium envelope, that what comes out, the paper, the quality of the paper, then, again, these people are making decisions in their mind about what it is they're about to pull out once they've touched on what it is and it's come open.
I think with direct mail as well, it's understanding who your target audience is. It might seem like a really obvious statement, but I don't think people actually do the analysis of who they're actually trying to attract. So, for example, the letters that we create, I don't think they'll work at the lower end of the market.
No.
For example.
Why is that?
Because, again, we have spoken about this before. I don't know what order they'll go out, but I think at the lower end of the market, you are dealing with sometimes with higher volume. You perhaps need higher volume, and generally speaking, people are looking for a lower fee. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the time at the lower end of the market, there is more competition. I think at the lower end of the market because there's more stock at the lower end of the market, and because there is a lack of budget for the quality of marketing. There's almost an element that I think the public view agents as the same. Mm-hmm. There is that challenge that, well, they're doing photography, they're doing floor plans, they'll do a portrait reel, they're on Facebook. What else do you do? And of course, at the lower end of the market, the fees, they're just not as high as obviously the higher end of the market. So naturally, there is less of a marketing budget to put into that. The context I'm giving is that you could write an incredible letter and go into the £300,000 house and try and charge them the fees that we're talking about, 2.5%, what it might be. And I think there's an argument that they're still looking at the fee side of it because of the lower value of the house. And I just don't, if I'm honest, I don't think it resonates with that end of the market. Mm-hmm. The higher end, you are dealing with high net worth clients who are usually entrepreneurial, high level executives, just got great jobs, that sort of thing, who actually value the stuff that is in the letter. So I think it's understanding who your target market is. And I've heard the argument that in the past that it needs to target both left-brained and right-brained people. It's got to have some flowery stuff in it as well as having some sort of overview of the market. If I'm honest, I don't agree with that approach at all. I think if it lands in the hands of someone who is maybe, I don't know, an actor, let's just say something like that, who perhaps doesn't have a handle on the market, doesn't understand property, doesn't understand data, they want to know that you do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right, yeah.
They want to know that you do. So I think that if you can deliver, again, a level of consistency with it as well, that is the key. And within your letter, show what has happened in the market. Every quarter, that's another thing. Keep showing them every quarter what's happening in the market and how it's playing out. You then become, this guy knows what he's talking about, this girl knows what he's talking about.
Why is it quarterly?
Question.
Yeah, that is.
I suppose it has to be frequent,
but not too frequent.
Not too frequent.
And then not too far apart.
Yeah.
Kind of settled on once a quarter seems like a good.
Yeah.
The other thing with it is, what do most businesses track?
Yeah.
Q1, Q2, Q3,
exactly,
Q4. Yeah.
Exactly. So to have a quarterly update, and also you can't leave it too much longer than that.
No, because they can forget about you, can't they?
Yeah, and also, we all know that the land registry data in particular is 3 to 6 months out of date. Well, it's certainly 3 months out of date because it's usually about 3 months behind. But that is representative maybe of offers that were made 3 to 6 months prior to that. So you actually could be looking at data that's 9 months out of date. So when the Rightmove HPI comes out, and you can start to see real time what's happening, on the ground what's happening, you need to be delivering this. We now, we had an example the other week, where we had a property that all the data suggested the house was 1.25 million when it started, but they had actually had valuations in excess of 1.4 million from other agents, but even based on what we had, that was way off. And for what we're selling, they're now closer to 1 million, and that's because the market in their area has dropped 15%. It's dropped massively, and they didn't know that. And the truth is, neither did we at the time. You've just got to let it play out sometime.
In terms of the power of direct mail there as well, you've made me think of, let's just say you have not received any letters from me, but you've invited me out to come and value your high-end home. And I start talking about how the market's dropped in that particular area by 10 or 15%. And you're maybe doing the typical homeowner thing of thinking, most people don't trust estate agents. Is this guy just trying to sell it quickly and get a commission? But if I've been receiving your updates for a year, talking about the market, I'm like, well, he's not just here to get a commission. He knows what he's talking about, because I've received half a dozen letters telling me this is what the market's doing right now.
Yeah.
So it's those extra touch points. And I know you've spoken about it on podcasts before of how you'll write a time and a date on a business card, hand it to them and say, I'm going to ring you.
Yeah.
So when you ring me, I'm like, holy fuck, he's done what he said he'd do.
Yeah.
And how many homeowners
Where a lot of people fail.
How many homeowners go, oh, well, I just don't hear back from them. They said they call me, they don't. So if someone's receiving letters from you and they know at the start of every quarter, I'm going to be getting a letter through, it's all those micro promises. And again, showing up on social media, doing the videos that we would have spoken about in another episode. So that consistency piece across all different forms of marketing is showing that you're going to keep showing up.
And also not just relying on the national data. You've really got to drill down into your local market.
So I had Phil M. Jones on my podcast, the author of Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents, and he said, and this was last year now, most agents are playing a 2015 playbook in 2025.
Yeah.
And what he meant by that, particularly in this instance, was, well, they're quoting a Rightmove house price index. It's like the public can click on Rightmove, whereas parking direct mail to one side, you do your brilliant interviews where you go to like a local business, but you contextualize the Rightmove house price index.
Yeah.
You don't just copy and paste and go, here's the Rightmove house price index. It's like, cheers, Ian.
Yeah.
You're going, this is what it means. And then to take that one step further, you're then going into the local area. Because I think as homeowners, we like the UK market, right? Then it's regional, then it's the city, the town, the village, and then your street. Like the more granular niche you can get with it, the better.
And that's what people want to know. People want to know what's going on in their local market more than anywhere else. They're not bothered what's happening in Milton Keynes if they live in Bolton. Well, I'm not bothered about Newport Pagnell, but I am bothered about Bolton, and vice versa. So that's what people need to know. We cover sort of 4 main areas from where we are, and within that, quite a few of them are big areas. So we break it down even further than that. So we're doing 8 versions of our letter that goes out. Now, a lot of it is, a lot of the national data can be very relevant to what's actually happening and what's playing out. Behavioural stuff for sure. But when it comes to the actual prices, it's often very, very different. Like, I've met a few clients this year who've said, well, the market's going up, isn't it? And I've said, no, it ain't. Pretty much every area I'm operating at the moment is coming down. Let's have a look. And as soon as you show them the data on the graph, their eyes pop out. You know, like, wow, I did not know that. So using direct mail to educate the client, and that's what it is. It's not a advertisement for your. Well, it is. It's a subtle
subtle,
way,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's
you're
very
not
subtle.
saying to book, and
Yeah.
you say it's a lot on podcast, but it's not. What is it you say about is it the lemon, the fresh approach? Or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is, like,
It's not that.
to book your free no obligation valuation. You're giving value add content.
Yeah.
It's like, look, if you want to have a chat,
If you want to
here's
have a
our
chat.
details.
And the other thing as well, at the top end of the market, I found is that a lot of the time you are dealing people 1 to 2 years in advance. You know, we're putting a house on the market next week, and that house I went to 2 years ago, and he's been getting a letter every quarter. He gets every single one. He has it in a little plastic wallet, and he keeps them. He reads them.
And I think you touched on it in another episode we recorded in, but the kind of properties you're selling in your council tax bands, let's say G and H, maybe a bit of F, it's those homeowners who bought their forever home 30 years ago. They're empty nesters now. Children have gone away. They've helped them buy their first home, whatever, and they're receiving your letters. And I can't help but think of like my mum and dad, who me and sister have moved out. My dad drives to the next village every day to get a Daily Telegraph. And when you talk about it in the podcast, it's like, oh, that stereotypical guy who reads the Telegraph, that is my dad. And he's the kind of guy who'd get a letter through the door and he'd read it.
Yeah.
But if leaflets came through the door, they're just going straight into the bin. But some long form content, he's the type of person who's going to read it. And then away from direct mail, the kind of person you're attracting to buy that property is them 30 years ago, but they're not going to a newspaper or necessarily just going to Rightmove. They're on social media, which is why you do all your video content.
Yeah. And just one step ahead. People always want the here and now, don't they? So like if you're an estate agent, you typically go, what evaluate? I need a valuation now. I need a valuation now. They're not thinking about next year. But if you have this consistent generation of leads coming in, you know, writing these letters every quarter, it will bear fruit. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, but I'm telling you now, I mean,
There is a saying that the Chinese stole off me, and that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Wow.
Second
When's the
best
next
time is
best
today.
time? Oh, goodness.
That's a great saying, Jake.
Yeah, they stole it off me.
What you say there is very, very true about planting the seeds early on. So from our January letter that we sent, we've had, well, this was last week's data. We've booked some since. We've booked £14 million worth of valuations.
1-4 or 4-0?
1-4, which for us would be.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Otherwise,
Oh,
it would have
you made
more
it sound
impressive.
worse.
Yeah, 14 million quid
I was
of
going to say, if you'd
valuations.
said 40 million, I was going to say, fucking hell. But 40 million is still acceptable.
Well, so for us, that's 280 grand in fees.
All right, sure.
Yeah. Does that make
That's just the upfront fees, right?
plus that 15 grand in upfront fees. So, you know, nearly 300,000 quid's worth of fees from sending our letter in January, and that's just that one quarter. But it's because we've been
But
sending
it's not
them.
that though. It's not just that though,
It's
is
not
it?
just that. It's because we've been sending them for 4 years, probably nearly now, to that same house.
And the thing is with that as well, if you put it into two camps, right, you probably occasionally get some miserable old, Victor Meldrew from One Foot in the Grave, who rings up and says, stop sending me stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine, Victor.
If you don't get that, you're not sending enough.
100%.
Thanks. You've just saved me £1.8p.
Really, and you might get this occasionally, but is someone going to ring you up and go, Ian, can I just say, I've been receiving your letters for 2 years now, and they are exceptional. I'm not selling for 5 years, but my God, they're amazing. They're not going to do
You
that.
do get that actually.
Well, you do.
actually.
Okay, I said occasionally.
Yeah, you do.
But they're not going to
40
be as frequent as someone saying,
No.
piss off, stop sending me stuff.
And they are so, even that though, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it
Money
feels more than
saved.
it is because you might get like 3 or 4 straight away when it first lands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's when you're sending out 10,000 of things and you get 4.
You do get the passive aggressive ones though as well that scriggle it out and do return to
Yeah,
sender
like-
and seal it back up.
Stop
Yeah.
sending them. They're really annoying. It's like, calm down.
So do you want a
Martha.
free valuation or not?
But I think it's a key point you make that if you're not getting people ring you up telling you to piss off, you are not doing enough. Same, whether it's online, offline marketing.
Yeah.
If you're not getting people say, like, you're posting too much.
Yeah.
I always remember we were doing some leaflet drops back in the day in through houses, and I remember pushing a leaflet through the door, and this guy just opened the door, picked up my leaflet, he stared at me like he went, open his bin. Thanks, mate. And walked off. That was it.
That was a great story. You've got any more of those?
I think a key thing you said there as well, though, I think that a lot of agents get confused with when we're talking direct mail, and it's mail directed to specific addresses. So you said about target audience earlier. You're sending out 10,000 a quarter to specific addresses, certain high-end homes. Yeah, you'll get agents who will send out 10,000 leaflets once a quarter with the kebab menus to every house saying, do you want a free valuation? That's leaflet distribution. That's not direct mail.
Often mixed in with lots of other crap, like you said. But so, a little story from me here. I've got, like I said, we cover different areas, but there's an area that we went into about 12 months ago, about 18 months ago maybe, and we started sending stuff out there. We don't have any right to have any houses in that area because we don't have an office there, nothing. So all we did was started sending direct mail, and I adapted the letter to this particular spot because they've got loads of great houses. And we started to get some traction, started to get some nice valuations. We got 5 or 6 houses in the first couple of months off the back of the direct mail. We exchanged on one 2 weeks ago, and the fee was £56,000 from just keep sending.
That was just the upfront fee again, yeah?
That was the upfront fee.
Yeah.
The actual fee was £482,000.
That's a great result.
I know, it was 50% fee. So, and we'll come on to that later. But no, seriously, going into this new area, like I said, we don't want market share. This is one of the beautiful things about the mid to high end of the market. You don't need it. When you're getting fees like that, I mean, let's break it down. We're talking about how many, if your average fee is £3,000, say, 3.5
Which
grand.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, so what we're talking there, how many instructions?
Quick maths.
Not just instructions, how many valuations?
Yeah.
Do you have to
Conversion
go to?
rates and...
Yeah, fall throughs and all that. When you add it all in, you're probably well over 40, So it's just such a better place to be. And if you get direct mail right, and you're consistent with it, and you're willing to invest in it and be patient, you will succeed.
And you do everything else around it.
Obviously we've already done it, but how you look is going to be really important.
Every episode you'll say that, don't you?
I will, because it's so important.
Yeah.
But
is valuation subjective or objective?
Valuation is subjective. We will come on to that. But no, it's dead important though, that part of it. But if you've already got that nailed, and assuming that you look the part and you get direct mail done right, it's not just game changing, it's life changing. And I'm talking about from a place where it's happened to me.
In our previous episode, we talked about starting off, didn't we? And how would you start off to attract the higher end? Well, what I wish I'd done is send direct mail from the very start. The direct mail that we send now. I wish I'd done that from day one.
Did you send any at the start? Interesting.
We didn't send any for 2 years.
You don't know what you don't know, though, do you?
Don't know what I didn't know.
So you've moved to a new area and you've gone, we're going to go for the mid to higher end market, but even at the start, print marketing wasn't a strategy.
Nope.
You don't know what you don't know, though, do you?
Yeah, but
I hadn't been educated.
But you're saying if you could have your time again.
Mate, if I had my time again, I'd done it 15 years ago.
Yeah, I'd be doing it before I even started the bloody company.
Yeah.
Because it takes a while to generate the results. So you need to get them sent as early as possible. Obviously, how you look is important.
You say that.
As early as possible.
Yeah. I think you can have really quick results with it.
Yeah. But then going forward to where we are now, so we're recording this in London today. You've just had your mastermind in Manchester. You're very busy business owners. So how are you still once a quarter, without fail, getting those 10,000 out? Because
it's just part of the process now. But should we talk about how we do it
We've got 3 different processes, haven't we?
The first part of it, lads, as well, is your team have to buy into it.
Yes.
They have to know it works and buy into it.
Your team has to buy into everything that you do. So your culture in the company is obviously the most important thing.
Yeah, and there's ways and means of doing it. We all do it in a slightly different. I mean, you're probably very similar now. You outsource some of it, but it ultimately results in, for me personally, it becomes a daily task. The preparation is done. Like, we're all ready. We've got every single envelope ready for Q2, Q3 even. Sorry, we've done Q1, so Q2's next. Obviously, we're ready. Yeah. We're ready to go.
So we outsource ours as well. So we've got someone that physically handwrites for us and does the whole lot.
Yeah.
But again, we mix and match depending on, because we've been really busy. I said to you last time, like, I did not want to let it slip. Like, it ended up costing me another $6,000 than it normally would have done to completely outsource everything that we do. But because I know how important it is to miss it, because if you miss that step, then the people that you've been sending to consistently will then go,
hang on,
we didn't send that one.
Yeah,
what happened to that update? I agree, and then it's all that hard work and money that you've put in prior the confidence and trust can be lost just by, again, you just got to find a way.
You got to find a way. Yeah, it's vital.
But it becomes part of the process. It's not actually hard to do once you get into the groove. And like I say, your team culture is that they've got to buy into it as well.
Yeah.
And when they start seeing the results as well.
Yeah.
It
And then
just
sharing
becomes
those
normal.
results with them. I think that's important.
They see it as well, though, when you start getting calls. We have a joke about we send them all out, and we know that, we're going to get the take me off your mailing list coming in like soon. And like the team will joke, they'll send it across on an email and very apologetic and thank you, blah 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 blah, and we just laugh about it and then we strike it off. But also they get excited when one comes in. Oh, that one came off a letter.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, they get our letters.
Yeah.
And
we always share our results from those on our WhatsApp group with the team.
Yeah.
We've got another nom, we call them noms, don't we?
Yeah.
Not on the market. So we've got another one come in and we'll talk about the value of it once we've been. And Aidan's got a spreadsheet where we track it all as well. But yeah, getting the team buy-in is absolutely vital.
So I can imagine if you don't have a team buy-in, and let's say it's in-house where someone's writing envelopes every day, or it's one day a month where they do it all, and fucking hell,
Yeah.
I've got cramp from doing this handwriting.
Yeah.
Like, what is this for?
And we do say to a lot of, sometimes they won't, I say to them, because I've got this from Dave, that they need to do it every morning, 15 minutes every morning, 20 envelopes, or whatever it is. And sometimes they'll forget or they'll let it slip, and then they'll have a big backlog. And I'll say, well, you really do need to do them every morning.
And that whole says I think there's two things there. The old Brian Tracy quote, if you have to eat a frog every day, when's the best time to do it? First thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And if you're going to eat an elephant, chop it into chunks. So to your 15 minutes to start of every day, get it out the way.
Yeah.
And and that's when your motivation levels are going to be highest, right?
Yeah.
Every conversation you have throughout the day, your battery is going to go down, and you're like, I'll do it at the end of the day.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, it absolutely. I mean, again, we speak to people all the time, don't we? They're like, oh, I've not done it, and it's now the end of the quarter. We need to get them out. I need to get like 4,000 done, and of course, then it becomes an issue. It's a problem. But you can definitely again, we do it.
There's always a way.
35 a day is less traumatizing than doing 4,000 at the end of the quarter.
Yeah.
Trying to get it all done, and then sometimes having to spend more at that point in time to maybe use a different piece of equipment to get it done or whatever it might be.
Whilst it's not print marketing, and I do my UK market update as a LinkedIn newsletter that goes out, I'm getting the content throughout the month. And then when it hits the first of every month, I've got everything ready to go. I know what my start and finish kind of looks like. It's like, right, now put all that content together. But if I get to the first of the month and I go, right, what am I going to talk about this month?
Yes.
I'm fucked. You've got to make sure that, and just like with, we haven't spoken about Ian having holidays yet, so should we bring that in? You have a few holidays a year, right? So they're booked in, you know when they're happening, so you're working hard before it, you're working hard after it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to change. You're not just going to go, oh shit, I'm a bit too busy, I'm not going to get on that flight.
No, of course.
Again, with the letters,
It's exactly
you
the
just
same.
keep consistently doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the benefits are massive, but you do have to you have to commit to it and you have to be consistent.
The other thing on
everything.
it, by the way, is the quality of there's a book called Alchemy. Have you read it?
No,
Who wrote that?
So it's.
I've got a signed copy.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Can I have a look at yours? I'll have a look at
We're
that.
talking about the book.
Yeah. No. Anyway, so no, basically the quality of the envelope and everything like that is we've talked about, but I'm specifically talking about how it's written. So if somebody's got poor handwriting, it's very, you've got to be very careful because it's going to be landing on the doorstep of someone, and they will look at it, and if it's got poor handwriting or even written in the wrong place.
I told you the story yesterday, didn't I? The lady who just didn't use it. So we had a lady who booked a valuation on her house. She's probably 3 years ago now. Really nice house, 1.25 million, 25 grand fee. She booked the val, and then we sent out our pack that we sent out before the valuation, and there was a spelling mistake on the address or in her name, one of the two, and that's why she didn't use us. Yeah. And she was a really, really nice old lady, and she said to me, honestly, I was going to go ahead, and it really made me think, what else are you making mistakes with?
I always think with written content in print marketing, I always think back to school and being like, if my English teacher was reading this,
what would they think?
What would they pick up on? And it's even things like, you should sign off a letter, yours faithfully.
Yes.
When you don't know who the other person is.
Yeah.
If it's dear neighbour or dear isn't, whatever. But when you see it signed off, yours sincerely, an English teacher can go, well, that's an error.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Or when you see kind regards, and it's like,
Yeah.
That's interesting
True.
you say that, because one of the houses I sold recently, was similar price, 1.25, 2%. They've been getting the market updates in a new area as well. And when I came through the door, he said the reason that he decided he was going to use me before was that he gets lots of direct mail. He's seen lots of different things that are written, but there's always typos and spelling mistakes, and there's no attention to detail. And he said, when you see that come through, that attention to detail, like your lady just said there, if they're going to slip up on one letter in the name, which again, this is extreme by the way, but again, Joe Bloggs in the 3-bed semi doesn't care about that. No. It's all about the cheapest fee. Yeah. However, when it's attention to detail, that really can make a difference. And as has been shown with him instructing and her clearly not instructing, it's...
There's a brilliant book.
Alchemy.
I've got a signed copy. I can read it.
Do you want to see it?
It's an old book by Jan Carlsen, I think his name, Moments of Truth. And he took an underperforming Scandinavian airline from hemorrhaging money to major profits. And his key line was, if there's coffee stains on the trays, what does that tell them about our engines?
Yeah.
So again, with those typos, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
And as Sam Hunter would say, the big things live in the small things, or small things live in the big things.
Yeah.
Do you know what else as well? Actually, if you can do it properly, articulate it well, I think there's a great opportunity with direct mail with the way AI is going.
Yeah.
Because people are, we talk about it all the time. There are so many Facebook posts now. Where you just know so that somebody's typed into ChatGPT or something, write me a Facebook post about this. And it's got the elongated hyphens in it. And
M-dash.
Yeah, and then Zs instead of S's on emphasising and stuff.
And this isn't this, it's this.
It just looks AI. And I think people are becoming more accustomed to it now.
Yeah.
So authenticity will win. And you can do that through direct mail.
I think it's, I don't know if we have spoken about this in another episode, but it basically splits the industry in two. And we maybe were saying this on a train where the lower end of the market will be happy with the AI side of things, self-service. But the higher end are wanting that concierge. Yeah. Just like when, I don't know, you go to a nice resort, you get to a hotel, let me take your luggage upstairs for you, and there's a bottle of champagne when you arrive and that sort of stuff. Or you've booked a budget hotel, probably like you guys
talked
did
about it on
last.
the pod, didn't we? We did, didn't we? We talked about it on the pod like this week when we were talking about hotels and estate agency.
Yes.
The difference between a Travelodge and a Dakota.
Yes, that was only yesterday. It feels like weeks ago.
It does feel like weeks ago. But you go in, like you say, Si, there's a doorman there. What does it say about the hotel? It's not just, and if you look at the analytical side of it, a doorman's job is to open the door, but he's not though, is he? It's so much more. It's calling a taxi. I
genuinely think Rory Sutherland talks about it in Alchemy.
Does he?
You're joking?
No, I actually think he does.
Have you got that book?
Yeah, signed copy.
Do you want to see it? But genuinely, that is, and I think that is where I picked up that from as well. But it says certain things about that business and that, in that instance, that hotel, without saying it. And your target audience, again, is judging you by everything that you do, by everything tangible that they can see, touch, feel, It's everything. So the quality of the envelope makes a difference. How it's written makes a difference. What comes out of the envelope makes a difference. What's written on the paper makes a difference. And that is where it is crucial, where you can't just do, I did direct mail.
Some of the stuff that you see, though, it is all about the agent as well. That, I've noticed you are still on the market. We are a local agent. We are family run for 25 years. We have won awards at the Esters and
Wow.
Exactly, and all that crap that no one's really interested in because everybody's won awards at the Esters these days, and everybody.
We've not. I've won an award.
We have.
I tell them to shut up.
I won several golds.
Only me.
Same.
I paid for several golds.
Well done.
So you can, everybody's saying the same thing, and ultimately, all they care about is how they're going to get the house sold.
Yes.
For the most money. Time-wise, and they want to know that the person doing it knows what they're talking about. So that's why, for me, with direct mail, educational is the key. So what is happening in the property market in my area right now?
Just to double down what you said there for anyone listening and watching, I think it's a key point of so many estate agents letters I've seen with I or we. So if you check the start of your sentences, how many times are you saying I or we?
Yeah.
Social media posts, website, whatever, but you or you are your, right?
Yeah.
You may be interested to know that property prices have climbed or gone down X, Y, Z, rather than I'm amazing. I've been established 50 years and I want to walk, no one cares.
It's the same with brochures, isn't it? Agents that do brochures, Most of them are about the agent more than they are the
It's
house.
great. To be honest, when you go up against a certain
Agent
type,
name.
and you see it on the side,
Their
I think,
branding.
great. It's just all about that. And then you open it up, and it's like, meet the team. And,
Well,
this is what we've done. We've won all these awards.
I've said this to you before. There's an agent.
I think I was going to mention what you were just going to say.
Local to my area, and this goes back to, I think maybe another episode we recorded about other agents trying to copy you, but they can't copy your authenticity.
Yeah.
So I know what you guys do in terms of the content you send out. There's an agent trying to replicate what James does, and they're sending out an envelope, but it's not handwritten. It's a what do you call it? A sticker. The sticker is put on with your address. So that's kind of you've like marked off that. And then when you open it, it basically says, "Dear homeowner, please find and close our company brochure." So you've done a lot of the hard work in terms of you're going and targeting these properties, but then you've just basically gone, "Look at me."
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Educate your client. That's what they want to know. They just want to know. It's
But that's
newsworthy.
nothing though. All you're doing is educating them on you. And to be honest, they might get it and say, "Oh, that's nice," in the bin. And they may even open the front door as you deliver it and put it in the bin and look at you at the same time. Can we just on that, obviously direct mail is multifaceted. So we've talked about quarterly market updates. One of the things I think we do really well in TCA is the sort of in line with the HPI every 6 weeks is our on-market letters. And it's not, you touched on it a minute ago, Si, about, we notice you've been on the market and we notice we can do this. Having an on-market direct mail approach that educates them every sort of 6 weeks about what's going on, rather than, we notice they know then they're still for sale. But the way that we write it as more of an advice piece for them is that this is what's happening. This is maybe why you haven't sold. Did you know X, Y, and Z? This data here. And then also, we do put in there things like, recent sales and bits behind that.
That's subtle marketing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're not, what you're doing is so it's saying to people like the market is still moving. Here's a few recent examples of houses that have sold. But then when you see the houses, they look incredible because they've got the twilights on them.
Of course,
on for $1 million, sold for $1,050,000, whatever it might be. Subtle marketing, but again, interesting for them because you're not saying, we sold this one down the road and yours is still for sale. You're just saying houses are still selling.
You're questioning their intelligence when you say you've now been on 4 weeks, 8 weeks. So cheers, Dave. I didn't know that, did I?
Thanks for that.
Your sale has fallen through. Has it? I didn't know that. You're questioning their intelligence, but
You're stupid.
Yeah.
It's a bit like what it says, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're stupid. Use us.
If the letter is you do your informative content and then you say something like, Simon and Louise are on the market with another agent for a year. They came to us and these are the 3 things we immediately did. Change strategy, and we sold it for more money than what they were asking before. If you want us to get similar results,
but you also give it to them as well. You can also give them what they need. In their letter, you can say to them,
because the others are not going to.
You're not directly saying to them, "Do this and you will sell your house." But what you're saying is, suggest that the quality of the marketing, suggest. Cinematic video may be the difference. And we've done ones before where we've had case studies where, like you just said, Simon and Louise are on the market for a year. This is what changed. But also a bit of meat on the bone about their why and what it meant to them that, that meant that they could, to talk about your lady the other day, that they could get into the house and, unwrap the presents with the grandkids and move on with their life.
The other thing is that they're also getting, with what we do, they're also getting our not on the market letters as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
So if they're on the market, they'll be getting the quarterly updates anyway that everyone gets, and those on the market letters.
And with the on-market letters you're sending out, how are you deciding who you're targeting? Is it they've been on the market for 1 day, 1 year? Does it matter?
They get it.
It's if you're on the market and you're in our area and the price points we're going after, you get a letter whether you're 1 day or 1 year.
Yeah.
Which works so well again, rather than it being like everyone else, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks.
They're just getting the regular content.
Which they're going, wow, it feels like it's personally written to me. Whereas 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, along with 5 other agents, they're like, what are all you? And a lot of agents use the same systems.
Yeah, they do.
And I know from having worked at Home Search, but they go straight into the system and go, that will do. Upload their logo, and then people are sending out the same letter at the same time. Yeah.
And it is, again, it's an educational piece. So it's talking about what the market's been doing perhaps over the last 6 weeks. And again, I mean, if you're dealing with a client that's stuck on the market at the wrong price point, we've talked about this a lot, but if they're here, their market's dropping and they're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, that's the worst thing they can do, the worst strategy. Because by the time they've decided to reduce, we're maybe way further back. Mm-hmm. So educating them again about your local market is key. Did you know it's actually falling at the moment? Well, my estate agent hasn't told me that. They don't want to make the phone call. They don't tell me anything.
And again, it's making sure that you're being selective. So we're not sending those on the market letters to everyone who's on the market. We're only sending them to the price points that we want to attract. And it's obviously it's easy when they're on the market because you know the price. So we say for over 400 grand and up, for example. So we're only sending to that core market we want to attract.
And then the other side of it is your buyer letters as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
So underrated.
pound for pound, like
biggest return on investment.
response rates. I mean, you've got to. The thing is, that's when we really wanted to start getting into the high end or the upper end of the market, the mid to upper end, but mainly the upper end of the market. Buyer letters are instrumental. Like, when you've got let's say you're watching this and you're like, right, I really want to do this. But I've got no stock. I've got nothing to go at. The chances are you've probably got access to a buyer, but you could do a social media post to get buyers, have a buyer, work with a buyer, and then utilize that to, again, get houses on the market and start speaking to people.
100%. We've just done obviously a previous podcast about if you were starting now, what would you do? Actually, people will go and chase properties, which you should have a strategy to do that. But actually, work with your buyers. For fuck's sake, they're looking to buy houses, and using direct mail for your buyers will yield good results.
But if you haven't got any buyers and you just start, let's just say hypothetically,
I think they're the easiest thing to get.
Yeah, no, but what I was going to say is to go back to Si's point from that podcast was the house that's gone up just sold STC online. Go and knock on the door and say, "Have you found somewhere?" Get their details and say, "Do you mind if I do a buyer campaign on your behalf?" Send them out, and I've got a buyer that's just sold their house on such and such or in this area. They're looking for X, Y, and Z. And again, the devil is in the detail. A single buyer letter isn't "we've got buyers."
No, it's all about the story.
It's the specific of the buyer, and the buyer letter. I mean, we've done varying different versions. I call it the James Clear one that we kind of worked on together, didn't we, before? And then you've obviously got your own version that I've used as well. And it's not just that single sheet of like A4 with just that. There's meat on the bone about understanding why that person is looking.
Well, it's real. It's real, isn't it?
But and that goes back to what you said earlier about authenticity.
Yeah.
And people reading that and they go, if it just says, "We have a buyer looking in your area, Mr. and Mrs. W are looking for a 4-bed detached or a 4-bedroom home in this area," no one cares.
No.
But if there's more meat on the bone and it talks about the schools in the area, the friends,
names,
the family,
with permission,
exactly.
Yeah.
Their children go to X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Mr. works in London for 3 days a week, so he needs to access X amount station.
The horses are good, but if they've got any pets or hobbies.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And that meat on the bone, and you can send out. I mean, we've done it before. We've sent out 100 buyer letters and probably had 8 or 9 responses.
Yeah, 100%.
And how many response rates have you measured them from any direct mail campaign? If you do leaflets, I think most people work on like a 0.0002% response rate. That's 8-9%.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
again,
incredible.
So obviously describing the actual the family there, you're also telling them what they're looking for. So if you're a seller and that letter describing that family arrives in the post and it says they need a minimum of 5 bedrooms, they're looking for stables, they're looking for at least 3 acres, that sort of stuff, and it lands on the doorstep, and you go, do you know what? I'm going to give them a ring because that's my house. They'll ring you and they might say, "Look, David, we're not looking to sell for 12 to 18 months yet, but I just thought I'd give you a call, see what it's all about." And then you get into the point of eventually, once you sort of see them, it might be a £1.5 million house. Well, John, would you sell for 1.7? Might do. So you're opening up conversations. We did 99 letters on a house. It was the Tom and Gemma one that we use now in TCA, and we had 99 letters go out. We had 7 responses. Only one was a bullseye, but the other 6 were straight into nurture. We sold another one of them. Combined value was 3.5 million. 2% fees. 99 letters. If it's written right and you're working with the right people and you're getting the content right, they are, again, game changers that get you some traction.
On what you're saying with letters as well, like that example where, let's say, I'm a homeowner, I receive a letter and I go, "That's all well and good that Dave's got someone who wants a house for stables and has got a budget of 1.5 million, but I can't find anywhere." So if it's like at the bottom, PS, if you're struggling to find what you want, get in contact with us. This is a service we provide.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're chain building. "Hi Dave, if I could find a bungalow in this village, I'd move."
Yeah.
Great, we now start to chain build offline. And I think a key thing that I was thinking when everyone was talking was prospecting works best when it feels like a service. So rather than it being, I need houses to sell, I've promised Simon and Louise I'd move heaven and earth to find them their dream home. They've exhausted all opportunities on Rightmove, and that is why I am writing to you.
Well, I've actually had it recently from a buyer campaign where somebody bought through me with a buyer letter, and they've recommended somebody else at the private school their kids go to contact me to do that for them. And they've instructed me on a buyer representation service because there's tangible proof that it's worked. And that spreads. It's again, there's loads of different marketing. Buyer letters are great, but also it's those other bits when, you've sold a house, whether you do postcards, whether you do letters, letting people know what's happened in the local area. So this has just been instructed. And I was just going to say on that, actually, on that buyer letter about offering it as a service, you wrote a brilliant line on that Tom and Gemma letter that basically says that, it is only through services like, something along the lines of, it's only agents like myself that offer these sorts of services that we're able to connect people with homes that aren't on Rightmove. Something like that, anyway. I can't remember what it was. Good though, by the way. But what it does though is you're telling that person that they can contact you for a similar service.
Yeah.
But also equally, you're showing them, again, it's show, don't tell. You're showing them that you are, remarkably different.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the other thing as well is, talking about it being educational, it's not just about the data and all that sort of stuff. How many times do you meet people who are not proactively doing anything with their own home because they can't find anything?
I'll give you a stat very quickly. 76% of sellers do not list until they find somewhere.
It's unbelievable. So again, you can use it as an educational piece. What? Unbelievable. Does he say that?
He does, yeah.
Does he? Damn it.
It's like, who's Gary Neville?
Does he bring a football chappy? Should we start talking about Hewell?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he must do. It's not incredible, mate. So it's an educational piece about building chains. So I've had one recently where kindly Stories have recommended someone to me.
You recommended him?
Yeah.
I know. I wasn't sure.
Dodgy. But no, the client lives near me where I live, and they are looking over in Cheshire. And he's got me in, and she said straight away, we haven't found anywhere yet. We've viewed one of these, so I don't know when we're going to move. I said, yeah, no worries, I'll come around, we'll give you some advice. Long story short, I've got an offer on their house already from somebody else who's off market, and I've got somebody that's going to be going viewing theirs, and I've now got to find that. It's all about building chains. None of them in this chain were thinking about this. They weren't thinking about it. They've been looking on Rightmove and nothing's coming up, and they didn't really know about the off-market network that we spoke about. So it took, that was a referral, but the other ones, in fact, one of the people in that chain, they responded to one of our letters. So it's a great way to be educational about that sort of thing as well.
Yeah. So we've said quarterly direct mail campaigns on market that you guys do. We've said VIP buyer campaigns. This kind of goes into on the market, but I don't think we touched on it, and you were talking about it in a podcast recently, withdrawn properties.
Yeah.
It's like if half the properties that come to market are not going to sell, they've still got an itch that needs scratching, right? It's a pause move, not a stop move. So it's making sure you have a strategy to stay in contact with those people who've withdrawn as well. So if I could get you the price you wanted, would you still end up moving? Do you still have an appetite to move? Or maybe they couldn't find the property they wanted, so you can offer that VIP buyer service.
Isn't there a stat that I think I came up with it actually? 30% of withdrawn properties come back for sale in 2 years.
It's actually higher. It's 46%.
I said 46% of. Is it 2 years?
Yeah, 46%. From data from 28. 46% of withdrawn properties come back to market within 2 years.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I said it in a previous episode, but 29% of properties at the moment are selling with a second agent. According to Rightmove, that's data from February. So it sounds really obvious, but a property comes off the market, so you're doing your on-market strategy, then that becomes a withdrawn property, then it comes on with you. So if 29% are selling with a second agent, got to go after withdrawn. But I feel like a lot of agents will use a prospecting system, send out one letter saying, hey, you withdrew from the market.
Yeah, sorry to see that.
And then that's the end. But everyone else has sent that letter at the same time.
Yeah.
Said the exact same thing. If you keep following up, again, tell a story. Simon and Louise tried another estate agent, didn't work out. We changed strategy. This was the result.
But also add them into, if they're not already in your quarterly market updates.
I was just going to say, they'll be getting
add them in there
well.
anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think that can make a big difference. I think we cover quite a lot there.
I think just one last point on that, like direct mail. At the very top, I think at the top end of the market, a lot of the homeowners are a bit older. A lot of them are the retirement age, doing a bit of planning, retirement planning, all that sort of stuff. They respond better to direct mail. It's because it's what they used to. You mentioned the Telegraph before. Is it your dad, did you say, doesn't get the Telegraph? A lot of these people are not on social media, not as proactive on social media.
My dad isn't.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not on social media. So I think there's an interpretation out there that social media is everything now. Direct mail's dead. You go all in on social media. The Gary Vaynerchuk line. Social media is massive, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure. And you've got to have a marketing mix, of course. That's why we're all over it. So I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't be having sponsored ad campaigns and all that sort of stuff. They're fantastic. But the assumption is that direct mail's dead. And I promise you it's not.
I think it's got to a point now where it's gone full 360 in the sense of, several years ago, people got excited to receive an email. But now we get so many emails, we get excited to receive a letter. The amount of letters that go through someone's door in 2026 is not what it was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So it's got to a point now where, oh my God, what? And I think, if it's quite clearly a bill, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. But if it's handwritten, nice envelope, what's that? Who's writing to me?
But email's easy as well. That's the other thing. Because it's easy, everyone's doing it, and it's the same with AI slot.
It's good to have a little bit of friction in. I say to a lot of agents, what kind of strategies you're doing. Try and find just a little bit of friction, which is going to remove 99% of the market. Because they're not going to want to do it. They're going to want to follow the path of least resistance. You've got a little bit of friction there, just enough that it will remove the others, but not enough where you go, oh, fuck it, I can't be bothered to do that.
But it also says a lot about you before they've even come into contact and know who you are. The fact that you're prepared to handwrite, the fact you've used a quality envelope, the fact that you actually stamped it, the fact that they've opened it as quality paper, and you've kind of sold yourself without selling yourself immediately, and people make up their mind about you based on all the interactions that they have and what they can touch and feel. I think I said that already.
One last point before we sort of finish off on the social media. So in today's day and age, when you've got your birthday on Facebook or LinkedIn, I'm sure we all get many messages on Facebook or LinkedIn going, happy birthday. And you're like, yeah, cheers, mate. It actually creates so much admin for whose birthday it is, because you can reply to everyone. But actually, how many birthday cards do you receive in the post?
Yeah, true.
And how special do you feel when you do get a card in the post? Because it's not done. Really so that's why, again, print marketing is it's huge.
It's great. But I do think the target audience for it is a bit older as well.
And they're the ones who are going to own the property that you're going to
the houses.
But equally, your up and comers, a lot of them are on social media, which is why you've got to have a social media strategy
so you've
as
got
well.
Print marketing to find the owners, social media to find the next generation of buyers coming through.
100%. Yeah.
Perfect. Is there anything we haven't discussed that we should?
Probably, but I mean, that's a great episode. I think
A5 leaflets offering free valuations, no obligation ones.
With a lemon and a fresh approach.
Yeah, I like that.
I think you talked about, no, I don't think you did, just talk about birthday cards. I think there's an area there you could definitely do with thank you cards, birthday cards, handwritten, that are straightforward, very cheap, and mean an awful lot to people.
Well, you think
there's loads of opportunities to send a card. And we love cards in the UK, don't we?
Yeah, 100%. So two extra touch points there. So you're going to have people's birthdays. So sending a birthday card.
Massive.
And then a happy anniversary in your
anniversary
home.
Cards.
And again,
Christmas
after least
cards.
resistance, you can just do a voice note or a WhatsApp when you still have your WhatsApp groups, which is great. Again, that was lovely because no one else would do it.
Yeah.
But again, that next step up, a birthday card. Even on completion, again, the thank you card to buy seller. Thank you so much for being a pleasure to deal with.
Just saying that, one of in our mastermind, one of our members said something that was really good about the hotel. When someone leaves a two 5-star hotel side by side, like no one's going to remember how good the pool was, but they'll remember the 5 touch points that separates the difference between the two.
I'm conscious I said, is there anything else? And we said no, and then I'm still talking. But something I've just thought of what we were saying earlier is that I can guarantee, particularly with your quarterly off-market updates you do, if you were to move your branding colours or your logos from you, people would read that and go, that was Stories, that was Burton James, that was James Kendall. So you've got to make sure that your content, if you removed your logos from it, people would know that's who that is. Whereas the other 10 agents, if you remove a logo, you go, I don't actually know who it is because they all do the same thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's got well written consistency. That's key for me.
Right, for those of you at home who have been watching and listening to Opening the Gates Small Listings Meets Complete Agent, that was episode 2 on how to effectively use direct mail, and we'll see you in the next episode very soon.